Good afternoon. This is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading. It's Wednesday, and this is another evidence video of vandalism. As I mentioned, I purchased the property that belonged to Travis Sparks, Oakwood Acres, in 2019. He built a little village after his wife died, and he was impeccable. He was absolutely impeccable. When I moved here, the entire community has been warring against me, vandalizing my property, trespassing, murdering my pets. This is documentation of the latest, and I'm hashtagging Sheriff Paul Hayes and Deputy Daniel Isaacs. This is a report to the Sheriff's Department that somebody trespassed my property and intentionally broke this window. This window I spray painted the end of last year because people were coming into these buildings and surveilling me. So I spray painted them and they scratched the paint off. I painted it again. And now this window is cracked. They intentionally cracked it. This is a hole. There is a hole in the glass. This is cracked with their usual V shape. This window is cracked. And if we get a very strong wind, this window will crack open and there'll be dust and wind and rain in here. This window is cracked. It's intentional vandalism. And this is the usual Freemason, Mason, I don't know why they call them free, but this is what they do. They leave the letter V behind. But this is intentional vandalism, asset stripping, trespassing, harassment, criminal trespassing. This is a crime. This is real estate mobbing. And this is the little building that Travis Spark built. And it was a schoolhouse. This is the schoolhouse that Travis Sparks built. I want everybody to see what these perpetrators are doing. I want everybody to see. I hope this goes viral. Hashtag Travis Sparks, Jackson County, Kentucky. This is what the local perpetrators are doing. Compliments of Sheriff Paul Hayes, who turns a blind cheek. Ross Murray, county prosecutor, turns a blind cheek. It doesn't matter if I have evidence, videos, signed witness statement. Nobody does anything. But this is evidence. Intentional vandalism, intentional breaking of this window. I want everybody to see who's responsible for this. I want everybody to see the symbols that these perpetrators use, because they're psychopaths and narcissists. They want to let you know who did the work. They want you to know who's behind this. And yes, if I sound angry, I am. Winter is approaching, and they broke another window on this property. And you want to know why? This is what they do. I take a step forward and 2 steps back because I just received a quote on replacing all the windows in the nonprofit building because they tore the insulation out of every window. They cracked the door. They tore all the insulation out of all the windows. So I just received a quote to replace it. And now they're destroying the windows on the other buildings. And I'm not going to let this go, folks. I had someone comment, and thank you so much, Jeff, for saying, yes, it is off the charts. They're on me 24/7, breaking things, breaking and entering. I really don't know of any other targeted person that gets what I get. The total destruction of everything I own. They walked into my house sometime yesterday. I took out gloves, just a pair of rubber gloves, because I was going to do some work. I ended up not getting to it, and I left the rubber gloves at the entrance of my house. I went to put the rubber gloves on today, and the criminals had been in my house and tore holes in the brand new rubber gloves. So that's what these criminals do. And yes, Travis Sparks built this village. And he didn't trust very many people. And I even had one of his family members tell me to not trust the neighbors. That person drove up to my driveway when I first moved here, introduced themselves, and said, don't trust the neighbors. So this is what else the criminals did. I already documented this. But this new post was installed after they damaged the post that was here when I moved here. They damaged the post. So this was brand new. It had zero damage to it. And this is what the criminals do. You want to see their Illuminati eye upside down? Here you go, folks. Their Illuminati eye. They tell you who they are by their crimes. They tell you exactly who they are by their crimes. Like etching the paint off of this pole. Damaging a church even. This is a church that Travis Sparks built. And he built this schoolhouse. This was a little schoolhouse that I've been cleaning up. They damaged the front door. I want you to see the front door here. That's intentional. They intentionally chipped the paint off the front door. And they intentionally cracked this glass window. This is intentional, folks. Oh, and I just want to say, I stayed up really late last night, or I should say early this morning, because I was doing a whole bunch of things because the criminals damaged my phone. The phone I'm using right now to record is not my phone. My deceased mother left it behind. It's a little bit bigger than mine and a better quality. But they have completely damaged my ability to take photos or videos with my phone. And it was working just fine last week. This is because I don't carry my phone around with me. And they come in, they can do it remotely with their technology. And they messed up my laptop also. So now I'm going to have to buy a new laptop. But I am sorry for reporting this, but I need to document this. And for all the other targeted people out there, I want everybody to see what's going on here. I don't deserve this. I moved here knowing nobody. Knowing nobody. And I remember shortly after I moved here, within a couple of days, Sheriff Paul Hayes introduced himself. He came over here. And another targeted woman says, I know why he introduced himself so fast. It's not usual for a sheriff to welcome a newcomer. He wanted to see who the new target was that he was going to be making money off of. He wanted to size me up, see who the new target was going to be in this small community of perpetrators and criminals. And no, I am not going to shut up. I'm going to keep talking about this until it stops, until the local authorities do something, until they acknowledge it. And if they don't want to acknowledge it, it's okay. I'm more than happy to record these videos, post them online on social media, and make them go viral. So please, folks, whomever is watching this, please share. Please like, share. It really does help the channel grow, and it helps other victims. And I don't have a victim mindset, but I am being victimized by a group of perpetrators who were actually on my property early this morning. That's what I was going to say. They call each other across my property with hooting sounds, like hoo, hoo. They call each other from across the street, 3 o'clock in the morning. This is not an owl, folks. I know the difference between an owl and a stupid human that's pretending to be one. So that is what is happening here. That window was intentionally cracked. This window of this schoolhouse that Travis Sparks built was intentionally cracked. This is not surveillance. The reason targeted people are surveilled is to torture them. They want to see what is important to them. Like, I painted those windows so that criminals couldn't get in there and surveil me. And also because the paint blocked out whatever was in there for other people to view. And they target the windows. So I bought that building there for my cats, my rescue cats, my 501c3 nonprofit. As soon as the electricity was installed, the criminals were in that building and drilled holes through the loft. They also tore all the insulation out from every window and every door. That actually was reported to the sheriff's department. Not that anything was done. It was just for documentation purposes. And then the criminals drilled holes up here in this soffit. They drilled a hole there. And they sliced here. It's hard to see. There. They drilled a hole there. And I filled it up. And then they intentionally rusted. These were new. They intentionally rusted these lights. They intentionally hammered every nail in this building to cause the paint to chip off. They intentionally cut holes in the underpinning. They wanted to make it look like it might have been done by a landscaper. That didn't happen. It didn't happen from a landscaper. The holes were intentionally cut. And what about this, folks? And what about this area here that where the grass is not cut? Like it's rocks. It's all rocks here. How did that happen, folks? It's their telltale signature. The first year I was here, they intentionally cracked this molding and pulled it apart. Pretty soon after the building was moved here. It was in mint condition, brand new, custom built. Cost me more than $20,000. And that's what these criminals do. They ruined this hutch. They intentionally picked out the knot here. The list is endless. Here you go. See, this is what they do. Let's see if I can zoom in to show you a little bit better. And then I showed you this this here. They cut a hole in the base underneath the door. After my mother died, I flew to New York. And while I was away, my hen was stolen. While I was in transit, my cat Buddha was killed. And this hole was created in the underpinning. This is while I'm going to visit to bury my mother. And as you can see here, they shaved. This is intentional. They shaved this so that when I close the door, there is a space here. There's a space. And for the people who are not targeted and think that this is crazy, it is crazy, folks. The program is scripted by sadists to intentionally, psychologically tear down and abuse an individual, and for the individual reporting it to look crazy. I can assure you, with my 2 psychology degrees, my hypnosis certifications ×3, my Reiki and spiritual background, my teaching background, my consulting background, my human resources background, I can assure you that I am quite sane, educated, and I know exactly what's going on since this is my property. I know what I bought. I bought everything new when I moved here for a new start, except for the buildings that Travis built that were here already, that were being systematically vandalized. These criminals have destroyed everything I've bought. That's in addition to what they do to my house interiorly by spraying it with dust, spreading dirt in my property. I put on I was going to wash my pink bathrobe. I bought it when I moved here because my other pink bathrobe was destroyed in New Jersey. They're doing the exact same thing here. Now, I don't know how often you wear your bathrobe. I just started wearing it, and I wear it from my my bathroom to my bed, which is literally 4 feet, less than. And then I put my pajamas on. When I went to wash it, both sleeves were covered in what appeared to be black soot. How would that have happened? They filthy my clothing, puncture holes in it, puncture holes in new gloves, murder animals, steal them, experiment on them, damage property, and nobody does anything? What kind of world are we living in where the sheriff thinks that's okay? Where the county prosecutor doesn't prosecute criminals and lets them go free, and torments innocent people just trying to live their lives. And that's what this world is coming to. And for the targeted people, you know that this has been going on for decades. MK Ultra never stopped. The program never ended. COINTELPRO never ended. It just changed names. Oh, I found another. Here, guys, I found another. It's another couple of holes. Here you go. Here's one. And here's another one. Oh, and here's three. Of course, it's got to be three. And it's a triangle for the Mason losers, the Mason Loser Club. They do everything in triplicate triangles. They're Satanists. And they want people to be angry. Well, why wouldn't I be angry? My property's being destroyed. Why wouldn't I be angry to be targeted for this kind of horrific treatment, asset stripping, harassment? This is not normal in society. Our society has been turned upside down by these criminals that have infiltrated every part of our society and government. And the reason is they are demonic. They are sadistic. They are satanic. They are psychopaths. They are narcissists. They are personality disordered. Personality disordered people, narcissists, and self-proclaimed narcissists like H.G. Tudor, who speaks very well on this topic. And he admits in his book that he only looks at people as like cattle, things, they're objects, tools. And that's the world that we are living in, where there is no rule of law. I don't understand why law enforcement goes to school to protect and serve when they're not doing it. They're only protecting their own self-interest and serving their own. That's why the world that we have found ourselves living in is so corrupt. It's going down the tubes. Please prepare. Buy extra food, water, supplies. Have extra cash on hand if possible. Buy everything that you need fast. And buy a weapon too. Thank you, Sheriff Hayes, for telling me when I moved here that I should buy a gun. I took your advice. You also said I should get a husband and a dog. I'm sorry, I didn't take that advice. But I took some of it. I hope you're proud of yourself. What this program does, it is a provocation program. There's not enough crime in this world. There really isn't. I should say in our country. People just want to live their lives. And our government is provoking some of the best people on the planet in this country. And they're called targeted individuals. And there are more than 2 million of us in this country, comprised of whistleblowers, activists, animal rights folks, PhDs, doctors, lawyers, truth speakers or truth seekers. Meaning, if you peruse the internet, if you're spiritual, or if you have spiritual gifts, if you are spiritually gifted, like you are an empath, can remote view, they'll target you. You'll be a target. And when you're a target, they study you. They study your behavior. They have doctors and lawyers, psychiatrists, psychologists analyzing every little thing so they can design a program just for me and just for you. That's why you're under surveillance for so long. Let's see what we can do to copycat in a very distorted way the actions of that individual while we're monitoring their heart rate, their brain functions. Yes, folks, guinea pigs. Thank you, Jeff. The cash cow. What is it that you call yourself? Cash cow? A human guinea pig cash cow? That's what we are, folks. We are nothing but assets to these criminals. And some of us as assets provide more or less assets to those criminals. So if you're fortunate or unfortunate enough to be placed in the secret government program, the paid-for-hire murderers, they have been testing artificial intelligence on targeted individuals to roll it out to the rest of the country. Those little chips, those little jabby-wabbies that some people took, I'm sorry to say that there's some nasty stuff in there that's going to track you. And because it is patented, so are you. You will be patented as being owned by whomever developed that device. And that's what that man, what's his name? Klaus Schwab, that psychopath. And what's the other one? Harari, whatever his name is. Now that, what a piece of work he is, huh? These are sick, sick individuals that want to control people. They can't even control their own lives. They are evil and sick and depraved lunatics. But that's what we're dealing with. And that's what I'm dealing with here. Women that hoot like an owl across my property at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, calling each other. People that crack the glass here. They crack the window in what Travis built as Opal's Diner. They did that the first year I lived here. They cracked that window. They like to crack windows, doors, pull insulation out of buildings, stab buildings. They want to make it look like it's appearing naturally. It's not. It's completely deliberate and intentional. And this is what everybody should be doing. Just hanging around, foraging, living peacefully together. There are 4 different breeds. 4 different breeds of guinea fowl hens here. They all get along just fine. They actually get along with the cats and the rooster. All the roosters. Even Tucker. Even Tucker Carlson. And there's Rand Paul right there. Right, guys? What do you think? Y'all get along? This is what life is supposed to be. Everybody gets along. Oh, and lastly, I've been wanting to say this for a while. I watch a lot of shorts, videos and TikTok. And I have seen some of the most beautiful families, interracial families, meaning, a black male and a beautiful woman, a black female and a handsome guy. And they have beautiful relationships, long lasting, and stunning children that are extremely well behaved. So, this agenda that's being pushed, Black Lives Matter, what a crock of BS that is. All lives matter. And I believe that in the history of this country now, there are more interracial relationships than there has ever been. So everything that we're being told is a lie. It's just a lie. So folks, I'm going to end it here. I apologize for the rant. I did need to document that window, and I was extremely angry when I saw that. I work very, very hard on this property. I spend a lot of money taking care of it. And it really angers me that some psychopath comes on here deliberately, intentionally breaking windows. Do you have any idea what it's going to cost to replace that window? That's an old building. If we get a big, strong wind, that window is going to cave right in. Or the criminals will be by again and just tap it a couple of more times in their usual slow kill method. Because if they broke it outright, that would be really reportable. So what they did is they punctured a couple of little holes in it, and then they'll stop by again, tap it again, and then they'll hope that I open the door and make it appear as if I made it break by opening the door, because they've already sabotaged the glass. You see that, folks? That's what they did. This is Lorraine on Wednesday. I hope everybody's having a good day. And thank you so much for listening in. What is happening to me is happening to a lot of people around the country. Not exactly what's happening to me. But the stronger the individual, the harder they're going to be. Their end goal is, this is their end goal. One, they want to asset strip you. They want to try to institutionalize you, steal your property, or have you commit a crime. I'm not going to commit a crime, folks. My deal is to expose them. I'm a rational, educated, emotionally mature individual. That's not what I'm dealing with. That's not my situation. I like to lead a nice, peaceful life. Have animals, play with the animals, garden. Just taking the time out to document this is taking time out of my day. I was raking leaves. We've got a lot of leaves falling, and while it seems like ridiculous to be raking leaves when so many more are going to fall, it's better to rake a little bit at a time than have to wait. And I spray painted some wire shelves here for storage. But thank you for listening. I really appreciate it. And welcome to all the newcomers. On the last note, I posted 2 videos this morning. One was when I was opening the door to my chicken coop over here and watching all the birds fly out. You are not going to believe this, folks, but it got so many views. But out of all the views and the likes, Within the first half an hour, I got like 6 dislikes. Welcome to Perphood, folks. The perpetrators that subscribe to my channel, like my local neighbors and stuff, they have to downvote it. But what they don't realize is that every click is a click for me. It doesn't matter if it's up or down. The YouTube algorithm, well, of course, I prefer the up vote, but to YouTube, it doesn't matter. It just means that 6 more people were viewing it. So, I hope everybody's having a good day. And this is Lorraine signing off for now.